Klay Thompson goes nuts in his season opener for the Dallas Mavericks.
As he surveys, it finds Thompson, free, good! Klay's got the stroke!
Klay humiliated Chris Paul on the court, and the Warriors fans everywhere are livid. After 11 seasons, 4 championships, and countless memories with the Golden State Warriors, Klay has officially made the jump to Dallas, and he's already proving why he was worth every penny of his new 3-year, $50 million contract. In the NBA Finals last season, the Mavericks lost to the Celtics in 5 games in the finals, and they knew they needed a shooter like Klay. Now, alongside Luka Doncic and Kyrie Irving, Thompson's ability to move without the ball and knock down those open looks could be the missing piece for Dallas to finally go all the way. So they tried their best to land him this past offseason. For Warriors fans, seeing Klay in Dallas blue was surreal, to say the least. He was the heart of Golden State for over a decade, and while his impact won't be forgotten in the Bay, he wanted to show Mavericks fans why he's the perfect fit for a team with title ambitions.
I think it's a bummer. Him and Green and Curry and Looney, they all won that championships together, and then now he's going to be off to another team.
So, understandably, the fans weren't pleased with the whole idea that Klay was now playing for a Western Conference rival. After a shaky preseason, some fans were starting to question if Klay still had that edge, but he put all doubts to rest in his Dallas Mavericks debut against the San Antonio Spurs. Thompson went off, scoring 22 points in just 26 minutes, leading Dallas to a 120-109 win to kick off their season. Klay's shooting was on another level and humiliating his former teammate Chris Paul and the San Antonio Spurs. He shot 7 of 13 from the field at almost 54% and an impressive 6 of 10 from deep, nailing 60% of his three-pointers. Not only did he drop 22 points, but those 6 triples also set a franchise record for the most threes made in a Mavericks debut. Klay didn't just stick to scoring, though. He was all over the court, grabbing 7 rebounds and getting 3 steals to help seal the victory. The chemistry between Klay and Luka was another highlight. Despite barely playing together outside a few practices, they looked like they'd been teammates for years. Luka may have admitted to feeling rusty after missing the preseason due to a calf injury, but he still logged a near triple-double with 28 points, 10 rebounds, and 8 assists, and he set up Klay for 4 of his buckets, including a standout moment in the fourth quarter. Klay popped out to the right wing after setting a back screen in a pick and roll and found himself so wide open that he had time for a dribble before knocking down an uncontested shot. You could see Luka trotting back on defense, beaming with confidence, knowing Klay would drain it. This is exactly the kind of dynamic Klay envisioned when he signed with Dallas, primarily to team up with superstar Luka. You could feel the chemistry between them right from the tip-off. This might not have gone down well with fans of the Dubs who were used to seeing that chemistry with Steph Curry. Early in the first quarter, he caught a pass from the Slovenian on the right wing, pump faked to fake out his former teammate Chris Paul, took a dribble, and then hit a smooth 19-foot pull-up jumper. That was the moment he calmed his nerves and reminded everyone why he's a 4-time champion. With this explosive start, Klay's transition to Dallas is looking promising, and the Mavericks are off to a great start this season. After spending his entire career with Golden State, where he became a franchise icon and part of the legendary Splash Brothers duo, Klay's departure this offseason sent shockwaves through the NBA. Reports suggested that Klay felt hurt by how the Warriors handled his free agency, and it definitely played a role in his decision to leave. He was reportedly miserable about the contract negotiations and felt undervalued compared to his fellow stars, Steph Curry and Draymond Green. After 2 years of battling major leg injuries and rehabilitating, Klay had to confront some tough realities about his identity as a player and what life looked like without basketball. The fans were livid and didn't appreciate the fact that he was let go quite easily, especially as they enter a rebuilding phase of the franchise. While Klay thrived in Dallas, Steph was candid about the challenge of losing his longtime teammate.
It's just that. It's his unique energy in the locker room. We know what he did on the court for us for the last decade plus, and all the games and championships he helped us win. Whatever outfit he came in off the boat, that type of stuff, you'll miss that for sure. But
he acknowledged the skepticism surrounding the Warriors as they navigate this new chapter without Klay, who was a key part of their 4 championships. The last couple of seasons have been rough for Golden State, going just 90-74 and missing the playoffs last year. As the 2023 season approached, Klay's frustration was evident. He struggled to hide his emotions, which became increasingly challenging for even his most loyal supporters in the locker room. He had several emotional conversations with head coach Steve Kerr, a stark contrast from the days when Kerr described him as a zero-maintenance star. The cracks in their relationship were starting to show, and it was clear something had to give. In May, Warriors owner Joe Lacob tried to mend things with Klay, but sometimes when a relationship is over, there's simply nothing left to say. In some ways, the Warriors had been moving on from Klay since that heartbreaking moment in the 2019 NBA Finals when he blew out his left knee. It was a tough pill to swallow. The team didn't want to leave him behind, but after 2 seasons of battling through a torn ACL and a torn Achilles, they were forced to seek replacements. They needed to keep the engine running while Klay was sidelined. When he finally returned to the court in 2022, there was excitement, but also some tension. Up-and-coming guard Jordan Poole, who had blossomed during Klay Thompson's absence, had to shift back to a bench role to make space for the main man. And here's where things got a little murky. Poole's presence and the fact that he had a pretty nice contract began to impact Klay's role on the team. The Warriors decided to prioritize extending Poole with a 4-year, $140 million deal, and also locked in young swingman Andrew Wiggins for 4 years. And $109 million. Meanwhile, Klay and Draymond Green were left to wonder where they fit into the franchise's future. Draymond's frustrations during this period are well documented, and while he ultimately earned a new 4-year contract in 2023, Klay was now the only one left. He had been solid on the court, averaging 22 points per game and shooting an impressive 41% from three-point range the season before, but when it came time to discuss a new deal, the Warriors didn't offer him the same kind of long-term security they gave Green. The Warriors had their reasons. For one, Draymond was a free agent and had some leverage, but the bigger picture was about maintaining flexibility with their salary cap. With the new collective bargaining agreement set to take effect in 2024, the organization wanted to keep its options open. Despite all this, the Warriors kept telling Klay they wanted him back. However, it seemed like they wanted him to wait so they could prioritize other moves first, leaving Klay in a limbo that undoubtedly weighed on him. For 5 long years, Klay had been in a relentless battle to reclaim his throne within the Warriors. Remember the days when he was splashing threes and playing elite defense alongside his buddy, Steph Curry? Well, those days felt like a distant memory, especially after the devastating injuries he faced. He fought tirelessly to get back to that level, but despite all his efforts, it was clear that both the Warriors and Klay had changed. The chemistry and structure that once defined their championship runs were no longer there, and Klay was wrestling with the reality that he wasn't the same player anymore. After the Dubs were eliminated from the play-in by the Sacramento Kings, Klay became a fan of the Dallas Mavericks, enjoying their dynamic play style during the playoffs, and was intrigued by the youthful energy of the Oklahoma City Thunder. And let's not forget his childhood dream of wearing the Lakers jersey, inspired by his idol, Kobe Bryant. As the clock ticked down to free agency, Klay met with Warriors coach Steve Kerr in Los Angeles. It was time for some honest conversation. He shared his feelings, his aspirations, and his desire for a fresh start. Klay reached out to both Draymond and Steph, asking them not to leverage their status within the organization to hinder his negotiations. He wanted to part ways amicably, and everyone involved understood. It was clear this was a mutual decision, with everyone wishing him well on his new journey. Klay called up Warriors owner Joe Lacob and general manager Mike Dunleavy Jr., asking them for help in orchestrating a sign-and-trade to a team of his choosing. His top pick was the Dallas Mavericks. Klay was impressed with how they played and envisioned himself fitting perfectly alongside 2 superstars, Luka Doncic and Kyrie Irving. He came to dinner meetings with the Mavericks front office fully prepared, having studied their game tape and mapping out how he could elevate their performance.
A new change of scenery can do wonders, and I'm very grateful for my time at Golden State, but I just felt like, moving on could just re-energize me and do something special for the rest of my career. And Dallas was so attractive because of the young players they have, the style of play, the world-class treatment these players get from this organization, and just a beautiful city who loves their hoops. So when I was watching the playoffs and I'm watching the Mavs, make a run for the championship, I just saw myself fitting in really well with this team and the personnel. And
the Mavericks, having made a strong playoff run, were thrilled to add a player of Klay's caliber at a reasonable contract. They recognized they needed veteran leadership to build off their recent success. And who better than Klay? Although the Thunder expressed interest in signing the former Warriors star, they ultimately decided to prioritize big man Isaiah Hartenstein with their cap space, leaving the door wide open for Klay to step into a new chapter in Dallas. And he shined in game way, as not even the tall Victor Wembanyama and CP3 could contain him that night. As Klay settles into this new environment alongside Doncic and Kyrie Irving, you can sense the joy and energy returning to his game. This isn't just a fresh start for him, it's a chance to reclaim his love for basketball and show the world that Klay Thompson still has plenty to give. With a killer performance like that in his debut, he's ready to turn the page and embrace the next chapter of his career in Dallas. Who knows? This could be the start of something really special for both Klay and the Mavs.